this morning, D.C. police say both a shooting and a crash are under investigation along I-295 in Northeast. One man is dead. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shanika Grimshaw in for Tanaya Wright.
And I'm Corey James. Want to get right to that breaking news this morning. D.C. News Now's Joseph Olmo is live at the scene in Northeast. Joseph, what have you learned so far?
Hey, Corey and Shanika, good morning to the both of you. So they're still trying to figure out if those two investigations are connected. But what we can tell you is that there was an overturned vehicle right here behind me just a couple minutes ago. Tow trucks came after the investigation. They were finally able to get it up there on a tow truck and bring it away. However, if you're looking at video right now from when that car was behind me, I asked police on scene about whether or not there were bullet holes in the car, whether or not there were any firearms recovered in the car, or if this crash is connected to a shooting investigation like you guys just mentioned moments ago that's happening right just a couple of blocks away from here. The only thing that I got back was that everything is still preliminary. They said as of right now, no bullet holes and no firearms, but the investigation is still in its early stages and that could change. That is what we have here right now, guys. Not a lot of confirmed information at this time. However, once we get more, we'll bring it to you on air and online at dcnewsnow.com. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Joseph. And as you step outside, you'll notice it's one of the coolest mornings we've had in a while. DC News Now's meteorologist Jackie Layer is live outside with your forecast this morning. Hey, Jackie, hey.
Yeah, hey there, Shanika and Corey. Good morning. Yes, I had to put my jacket on before heading outside just because, yes, it's much cooler out there this morning compared to yesterday morning. We're running at least 10 to 20 degrees cooler than we were yesterday morning around this time. So that's a drastic difference, and you can feel it when you step out just because we were also noticing a northwesterly breeze. So later on through the morning, for those kids getting ready to go into school, make sure they also have their jacket as they're waiting at the bus stop. Those temperatures will be varying into low to mid 50s. Many locations right now we're into the 50s, especially just outside of DC. DC, though, we're into the mid to upper 50s at this point in time. But as we get closer and closer towards sunrise, which is later this hour, we'll likely see those temperatures dip just a little bit just around sunrise, and then eventually we'll notice temperatures will warm back up into the mid to upper 60s later on this afternoon. Yes, high temperatures into the 60s, and this is the first full day of fall. It will certainly feel like it out there, and we're feeling it out there this morning as well. I'll certainly have more details and look at towards the rest of that 7-day coming up, but I do want to toss it over to Christy, the very latest on traffic. It's pretty quiet out here in Georgetown, but I know that we're having a few more updates out there across the area. Christy, how's it looking?
Oh, well, it's not looking too great this morning. We've been talking about this 295 investigation all morning. That's police activity. Well, that is starting to clear, and you can see now traffic is free flowing, but I do want to talk about if you are on I-495. That's not looking too good for you. So take a look at this. We just got this into our newsroom. This is multiple lanes are closed due to an accident, and also on another portion of US 50, excuse me, you can see lots of stop, slow traffic there, so do be mindful. But with all that being said, let's take a look at our traffic times. They're not too bad this morning. Hagerstown to Frederick, 21 minutes. Frederick to the Capitol Beltway is 31 minutes. And I-95 to the I-270 spur, you are looking good to go for your commute this morning, guys.
All right, Christy, thank you. Your time right now is 6:03 this morning. 3 people injured after a shooting outside Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen in Hillcrest Heights near Iverson Street last night.
Yeah, the shooting happened around 6 o'clock. Officers say they found 3 men in front of the Popeyes with gunshot wounds. They tell DC News Now each of them were shot in the foot and are all expected to be okay.
And developing this morning, the family of a man who was shot and killed at a youth football practice earlier this month is pleading for justice. 36-year-old D'Angelo Taylor was watching his son's football practice in Southeast D.C. when he was shot and killed. Taylor's son and daughter both with him when it happened. Taylor's family believes it was targeted.
I'm so sad. I can't believe that my baby is gone. If you have any information, please come forward. If you were in my shoes and this was your son, wouldn't you want justice for him?
Well, Taylor's family says he was a father of 5 and engaged to be married next year. Right now, no arrests have been made. The Metropolitan Police Department is offering a reward of up to $25,000, waiting for information resulting in an arrest.
And covering Loudoun County this morning, schools are getting their first look at policy requiring parents to be told anytime school material contains sexual explicit content. The school board's curriculum and instruction committee met on Thursday and heard from some parents who are in favor of the policy but think it could go further. One LCPS dad said he doesn't think any sexually explicit materials should be taught in schools, but others pushed back against what they're calling a politically engineered policy. Now, part of the criticism is because homosexuality is considered a sexual conduct, according to Virginia code. Now, school board members hope to speak to the community before enacting the policy.
It's correct that those are the terms that are used by Virginia law, so it's something we have to be aware of and try and mitigate as we continue to take a look at the policy.
Now, the board expects to vote on this measure in either November or December in order to meet the January 1st deadline set by state law. Early voting in Virginia ahead of November's general election. Here's what you need to know before you head to the polls. First, make sure you have your ID with you, either your voter ID card or state-issued ID or license. If you requested an absentee ballot, election officials say it shouldn't be on its way. The deadline to register to vote or update your information is Monday, October 17th. Saturday, November 5th is the last day to early vote. Election day is Tuesday, November 8th.
Your time right now is 6:06 in Morgan County, West Virginia. Hundreds of lost ballots are finally getting counted. Morgan County election officials say they found nearly 250 ballots, and according to officials, they were from last May's primary election. The uncounted votes impacted races for both the House of Delegates and the County Commission.
This is a good opportunity for the Morgan County Commission, the Morgan County Clerk's Office to review best practices, how we handle things, the note-taking that goes in, the procedures.
And again, a number of the missed ballots were counted this week and will be certified by Morgan County Circuit Court.
And in Maryland, two very different candidates are vying for the governor's seat, but both are being faced with their own controversies. Democratic candidate Wes Moore is facing backlash over his apparent dishonesty by allowing many to believe he was born in Baltimore, but he wasn't. Meanwhile, Republican candidate Dan Cox continues to deny the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. We sat down with both Moore and Cox to talk about these issues, but both say they've done nothing to deserve the criticisms against them.
On page 37 of my book, I talk about moving around and going from Maryland to New York and moving back to Maryland. So there is nothing that I have said nor written that is inaccurate.
I believe when the evidence is shown as it should have been, that is likely the result, because we all witnessed it. We saw, and I was up in Philadelphia, we saw the lack of any kind of verification on the mail-in signatures.
There's also a significant debate between the candidates over the issue of when to start counting mail-in ballots in the state. This morning, President Biden says the U.S. will not walk away from Puerto Rico after Hurricane Fiona hit the island hard this week.
I especially want to thank the local first responders. I want to say that again, the local first responders. I want to thank them. And to the people of Puerto Rico who are still hurting from Hurricane Maria 5 years later, I know that they should know that we are with you. We're not going to walk away.
Now, Biden says the full force of the government is ready to help Puerto Rico recover from Fiona. As of Thursday, 60% of people remain without power and a third are still without water. Local officials say they do not know when service will be fully restored.
And last night, Hurricane Fiona hit Bermuda with heavy rain and wind sweeping across the island there. Authorities opened shelters and closed schools ahead of the storm. A hurricane watch has been issued for coastal parts of Canada where the storm is expected to hit soon.